Making sure we quickly, in case the YouTube folks didn't see it, I just quickly introduced myself and Kent. There's a bit of a gaffe to start off the show. We have Billy from Upper Deck here on the set. Um, Pretty much the point of this show really is Kent and I have a bucket list. This was our bucket list. This is something we've always wanted to do. We saw Jeremy do with Sports Guide Live, a couple other friends, Carlos on Because I'm Carlos. Kent is not a rookie to the YouTube space. You've been around for a long time, silently, but around for a long time. Have a way bigger following than I'll ever have. And Billy, of course, everyone loves Billy. So Billy's from Upper Deck. Today, our focus is going to be talking about sports cards in terms of non-sports cards. We're going to first start off with Billy's personal collection of autographs, and then we'll get into some of the Upper Deck non-sports pieces. So with all that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Billy, and I'll talk to you first here because you're our guest of honor. How did you start the graphing?
You know, it's a funny story. When I moved out to California, it was a whole new world. And I was with a buddy one time, and we're sitting there, and it was the premiere for the movie Fallen, I think it was called. It had The Rock and Billy Bob Thornton, and my roommate and myself are big wrestling fans. So we wanted to go there so we'd see all the wrestling people. And my friend got tickets to the premiere, like to go inside. It was at the Chinese theater. So I waited in line because he's the one that got us the tickets. I thought, I'll wait in line so he can get the pictures that he wants, and then we'll get to see the movie together. And we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And he comes back, and then the line starts moving. And there's probably still about 100 or 200 people in front of me. And they cut off the line and they said, it's all done. And I was like, oh, well, we missed it. And my friend's like, well, there's this New York style pizza place right here. And let's go get some pizza. He's like, but let's use the back alley instead of going on Hollywood Boulevard. Let's use like the right behind the buildings. So we're walking and we see this little crowd of people and we're like, what's going on here? Well, it was the Jimmy Kimmel show. And I guess what happens is that we didn't know this, but like the guests would leave the show and sometimes come over to the crowd of fans. And so we just stuck around, and it's crazy. That day, Stana Katic was on there, and there was someone else, and then Kesha was there, and she was a big name at the time. And, to me, a celebrity coming from Michigan, mid-Michigan, was like a news anchor or a radio DJ. Like we don't have like celebrities, movie stars, TV stars, that we see. So this was like all exciting. So we stuck around, and, an hour or two later, Kesha finally comes out and takes pictures, and I had her sign the back of my ticket because I didn't have anything for her to sign. And I'm just like, this was fun. So we started to try to see, okay, well, who's going to be there the next day? And me and my friend just started going to Jimmy Kimmel, and you meet people, you learn about movie premieres, you learn about Q&As and all these sort of things. And 10 11 years later, and I've still got the bug. I collect autographs, and I collect cards, and I actually kind of mix them together a lot too. I'll get cards signed by the actors or actresses, because there's a lot of actors and actresses that might not necessarily sign cards for certain sets. And so I kind of find it fun to get those cards signed, so I can have an autograph so-and-so and whatnot.
Awesome. So for those of you that pardon a little gaffe earlier, so the way it's going to work is Kent and I will trade so we don't talk over each other. So I asked the first question. It's only natural I get my partner in crime to ask the next question.
So Billy, since you've been collecting autographs and meeting celebrities, what would you say in your collection so far that you've accumulated? What would you say would be your top 3 favorite signers that you've gotten to know?
So from a standpoint of like, there are some celebrities that I've seen a number of times, and whether they recognize me or not, I don't know. One of my favorite celebrities, and probably one of the nicest celebrities out there, Jessica Chastain. She was in Zero Dark 30, Molly's Game. She is extremely nice. She will always take time to sign for her fans, take pictures. She might not sign everything you have, but if there's a crowd of people, she'll come over. At the Dark Phoenix premiere, she even had like a cast on her hand and was still signing autographs for everybody with a cast on her hand. She's absolutely amazing. Two of my personal favorites also. I'm a big Evan Rachel Wood fan. A lot of people that follow me or know me would know that. That's probably the one celebrity I have the most autographs of. I just kind of started following her through Westworld and previous movies that she had done, and then she started playing music, and she had a band, and so I would see her before or after the concert, and she would sign autographs for me. And the band has gotten a little bit bigger, and now they do like meet and greets and stuff, so I'll buy the meet and greets, and she'll recognize me. It's not like she knows my name or anything crazy like that, but she definitely is one of my favorites. And probably my last one is a lesser known name, but super nice. Emma Dumont. She played Polaris in the TV
Oh
show.
yes, right, yes.
She was also in Bunheads, and she's absolutely like one of the best. She has a motto where she will show up to everything at least like 30 minutes early. So we'll be sitting there waiting for people, and all of a sudden she'll come walking by, and she'll sign everything you have because she's got the time. She's already early, and I've actually I have like put on my Instagram before, hey, be cool. I'm stuck here during COVID. If so and so and so and so could say hi for my birthday, and she's actually left messages on my Instagram saying, "Oh, happy birthday, Billy," blah 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 blah. So she's another one that would recognize me. I don't necessarily know if she knows my name and stuff. They see so many people. I'm going to be realistic, and there's people out there that'll be like, "Oh, this person knows me. This person knows me." I'm realistic in the fact that there's more people like me out there for all of these celebrities.
Sure.
But I'm sure they recognize me. I've got the beard and short little stocky guy, so they might recognize that. But those are probably my three favorite.
So I just want to quickly say hi to a couple of people. So Jeremy's
Sure.
checking us out. So hey, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Got Eli here saying hello. Eli runs a very popular brake channel on Facebook called Little Shop of Heroes Brakes. So hello, guys. So one quick segue. So I knew this was going to happen. So there's a segue going to happen in every conversation. So can you tell everyone about your favorite Jessica? Was it Jessica Chastain that you went and got that quote done from someone else and then brought it to her? And was that you? Was that her that you did the story?
Let me just tell you how amazing Jessica Chastain is.
Okay.
And I think I sent you. I've got a picture for you to show. Well, first of all, I'll give you a little backstory. I was at an Interstellar premiere, or not premiere, but Q&A, and I had driven out. It took about 3 hours, to go from Carlsbad to LA because of traffic. And I'm sitting there, and Anne Hathaway was supposed to be there. Jessica Chastain was supposed to be there. Mackenzie Foy, I think her name was there, and Christopher Nolan. And so we're all lined up in a single file line because a lot of times if you're organized and lined up, all the fans, a lot of times they'll come over. And Christopher Nolan kind of snuck in the farther door. Jessica Chastain or Anne Hathaway does the same thing. So her and Christopher Nolan go in the side door. I had a Les Mis piece that only needed Anne Hathaway pretty much to finish. So Jessica Chastain comes and she goes down the line. And when she comes back, I'm like, hey, can you tell Anne how nice we were and how well behaved we were? So maybe she can come out. I drove 3 hours here to hope that she could finish my Les Mis piece. And she's just like, let me see it. And I show it to her. And I had a sign even for Anne, like, hey, Anne, because we could see her through the window. So I made a sign. I'm like, I drove here, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, let me see your sign. Takes a sign. She's like, you got a pen? I go, yeah. And she goes inside, and you see her go into a room. And then like 3 or 4 minutes later, a security guard comes out with my sign and my picture. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she signed it. And everyone's like, oh, that's so cool. And then they're like, oh, check out this. And someone's just like, wait a minute, like, let me see your sign. Flip the sign around. And I don't know if you can show it or not, or meet. I sent you a picture of it. It's like the brown cardboard looking picture, but on it, it's like, thank you for waiting. Appreciate it, Annie. And then next to it, it's just like, see, I told you she was nice, with an arrow pointing to Anne Hathaway's signature. And then she signed it, Jessica Chastain. So
Is it
not only did I get like a really cool, I got my picture signed, but I got this really cool poster, which I actually like more than the Les Mis piece, just because it's so original. Yeah, it's that one right there. So you can see it. It's just like, I appreciate you. And then Jessica Chastain just signed it right next to it. So that was a great
cool.
story.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
So I went to a Q&A where she was doing for the Zookeeper's Wife, and she had talked about this quote from the movie Zootopia about how, if you the only way change is going to happen is if you live by that change, basically. And she's like, and there's this big quote from Zootopia. So I went to a play that had Ginnifer Goodwin there, and she comes out, and I told her the whole story, and I'm just like, would you mind writing the quote? And I had written down the quote, and she writes this long quote for her, and I'm like, this is for Jessica Chastain. And she's like, really? I'm like, no, it is. You can put to Jessica on it if you want. So she did that. And I gave it to Jessica Chastain probably about 6 months later. And she's just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. She's like, I'm going to keep this. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I hope you'd keep it. And she's like, no, seriously, I'm going to keep this. This is so nice. So, some of the celebrities that take care of us, we try to do stuff for them too. I know many people that have given her gifts, whether it be books or, stuff like that. She's the best.
That's cool. I thought that was a cool story because want everyone to see that Billy's not only passionate about what he does, but he's a nice guy and he's genuine. So one of the credos of what our show is all about is about genuine people. This shows that if you are a genuine person, you are a good person, you will get rewarded with some of the goodness in nature. Secondly, I wanted to also point that out because not athletes and all people of celebrity status are completely mean. I won't use colorful language because there's my family is watching this show too, so I'll use non-colorful language. Since I asked that question, Kent, I'll just throw the next one over to you.
Sure. So we just talked about your 3 favorite signers, and obviously Jessica Chastain is one of them. What would you say, in your experience, would be some of your difficult signers?
I have had some problems with some people. I know it took me 9 tries, I believe it was, to finally get Elizabeth Banks. And it's not like she's not nice. It's just like there's times she does it, and there's times she does, and I just never picked the right time when she did. And so that was always one that was on my bucket list, was to get Elizabeth Banks. She's one of those people that she's in so many movies that I like. I wanted to get her, and so she was tough for a while. As I said, I've gotten her once or twice since. There's a couple names that are really tough. Like Winona Ryder is nearly impossible. And she's been in so many good classic movies.
Reality
I have a Reality Bites picture that has Ethan Hawke and Ben Stiller on it, and I'm just waiting for her. And someone had set up a signing, and that fell through. I don't know if it was real or not, but I've seen her, I've met her, and she's just very socially awkward. Like, she just doesn't, she kind of hides and runs from people. So that's a tough one. Another tough one, but is doing a signing really soon. My buddies at Star Wars Autograph Universe actually got her to do her first sit down signing, and that's Natalie Portman.
Oh wow!
She just doesn't really enjoy the whole aspect of coming over and signing autographs and whatnot. And I think it was a perfect opportunity. Some of these people just don't like to deal with the people. Like, they know what their profession is. They know, but they just want to act. They just want to make movies. They don't necessarily like the whole lights, camera, action, all these screaming fans and whatnot. And she's just never really been one that has leaned towards that aspect of her career. So the fact that someone got her to do a private signing, I've already ordered two. Like, I'm pretty excited about it because that's a white whale right there. There's a couple others. Like, I've never gotten Clint Eastwood. I finally traded with a friend of mine to get the image that I always wanted. And again, it's not that some of these people, it's not that they don't do it. It's just, I'm just not there at the right time. Another one that's tough is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But the funny thing, he's gotten better, but he's so polite about it. It's just like, Joseph, no, I'm sorry, guys, I can't do it. Like, he'll be polite, and so you're like, oh, I hate that you won't sign, but you're so nice. Darn it. Brie Larson. Brie Larson's one of those names. It's a big Marvel name, and she has so many kids that just love her movies and stuff. She used to be one of the nicest signers to her fans, and I sit there and say these people are nice or not nice. I don't necessarily know how nice I would be to a screaming crowd of 100 people shoving papers to get signed in my face. You got to think of that too. But Brie Larson used to be extremely nice. I've got a number of pictures with her and some nice autographs. And then when she got nominated for an Oscar, there's a rumor that there was something that happened. I don't know exactly, but some sort of fan interaction, and she just shut it off. And she didn't sign anymore. And like, I had been warned about it. And then I saw her at a Q&A for The Room, and it was just me. Like, everyone else was at a different spot, and I had like gone to check someplace else, and there she is walking. And I'm a huge Scott Pilgrim versus the World fan. Like, that's one of my favorite
movie.
So luckily I already got her on all that stuff. Like, I don't need her and don't want to pay to get her on it. But she's like, sorry, I don't sign anymore. And I'm like, well, could I get a picture at least? And she's like, yeah, I'll take a picture. So she took pictures. But since then, she's just been tough. And, there'll be some people, like a lot of these people that I sit here and say are tough. Yes, there's going to be other autograph collectors that say, oh, I got her, or oh, I got him. They were super easy. Yes, there are times that these people will sign. But you're asking me which ones I've had problems with. Those are some of the ones that I've had problems with.
Great. Thanks, Billy. Amit, you want to talk about
Yeah, so you kind of already veered into this one, so maybe you can continue along the line. You had a bucket list, but there was a couple of people on that. Were it just those three people, or do you have others?
Some of it is a bucket list of just people I like. Like, I'll never turn down a Jessica Alba autograph. I'll tell you that much. That's my number one. But like, Clint Eastwood obviously was a name that I had gone for. I would still love to like meet him and get his autograph. But it just kind of changes, depending on, there's usually like a hot new name too that you're just like, oh my gosh, I want to get this person. Anna de Armas for a while. She just finished Knives Out, and she was going to be the Bond girl, and Bond was supposed to come out a year ago, whatever. And that was a big name. It's still a fairly big name, but that was like the it name. Everybody wanted her. And then when that movie on Netflix about chess came out, the
Queen, Bobby Fischer?
Queen one. No,
the Gambit. The Gambit.
Gambit, yes. Anya Taylor-Joy became a huge name. Everybody wants her. So right now it's a different type of type of market. Like, it's not like I can go out to a premiere or go out to anywhere else and get these people, because they're not out, and they're not at cons because there's no conventions going on right now. So a lot of these names that normally don't sign because they're not working are starting to do private signings. So you're seeing a lot of these bucket list names that you never would have thought would sign are starting to do private signings because they don't have to deal with the people. There's no photo oppers that you have to deal with. I think there was they just announced an Emilia Clarke private signing. There was a Margot Robbie private signing not too long ago. The cast of The Mandalorian is doing a bunch of stuff. Like I said, with Star Wars Autograph Universe, I know they have like Rosario Dawson and Katie Sackhoff, and these aren't people that you haven't seen at conventions in a while. So yeah, there's I still have some people I'd like to get, but for the most part, I've gotten a lot of the names, and because of COVID, I haven't gotten them because I've met them or went to a premiere or something. I've gotten them because just like everybody's dipping into the card market because they have all this extra money lying around. I'm also dipping into the autograph world or autograph. Like I never used to purchase autographs. The only time I would purchase autographs is if I would go to a convention or a con for the most part, and there was like a wrestler I liked or a UFC fighter or a model or something. The Amelia Clark, I did a signing. They did the Comic Palooza where Amelia Clark had her first signing, and that was a big deal because I'd never really thrown down that much money on autographs, but that was a name that you just doesn't sign very much, so I had to take advantage of it.
What about like overseas signers? Do you have like a network of groups of people that you talk that do overseas work, and you're like they trade with you for North American actors and actresses?
I have got some friends overseas. Shipping shipping terrifies me. Shipping autographs overseas terrifies me. Shipping to Canada even terrifies me sometimes because I keep reading all these posts about how bad the mail is out there. So I've kind of stayed away from that. I will say now I haven't dabbled in it yet, but pretty soon I'm probably going to be sending some stuff out overseas for TTM, which is through the mail. A lot of people will send cards and whatnot through the mail, and I've got specific cards I have doubles of that. If I lose the card, I lose the card. But if I get it back, it adds to the set that I'm trying to build right now. So, yeah, I've got friends overseas. I just I kind of stay away from it just because I've heard so many horror stories of people tubes getting bent or opened up and there's nothing in it, and I don't want to lose autographs that way.
Well, Kent and I are Canadians, and we can help you get Bree's autograph. I'm sure you just have to send us in the right place. I'm just going to take a quick hello to a couple people here. So Josh, hello, how you doing? We have Yannick as well. Yannick is a friend we met at the Virtual Expo and became a really good buddy that we talked to on Facebook a lot. Here's something to Facebook user. So I guess you have to go to StreamYard to let, I believe, Facebook authorize your name, and then we'll see who you are. If you want to do that, we'll find out who you are, or you can just type your name below. And then Josh, of course, thank you. Definitely hit the like button if everybody wants to hear more from us. Well, you hear more from us regardless. We won't be spamming you with like button requests, but yeah, I really appreciate it. And you know there's not a ton of you out there. There's 13 of you. But if you have questions for Billy regarding non-sports autographs, please feel free to ask. I'll bring your name up on screen, and we can get Billy to ask your questions. Billy is not afraid to ask anything or answer anything, I should say. I think so. We're talking about COVID. So I have a bucket list. I think Kent, you're up next.
Do you have any other funny stories that you can share with us, Billy, based on your past experiences trying to procure autographs?
Oh, geez.
I'm sure
there's there's a funny story, and I think I sent Amit a picture of it. So it was the Fast and Furious 6 premiere. Ooh. And I'm with a couple of my friends at the time. And so there was like, you had to run around and do all this stuff to be able to get into this big fan pit area. And the fan pit area was actually like a concert area. So we're sitting there and got there early in the day. This is at Universal in Hollywood. So you had to kind of figure out where you're supposed to be. And we finally figured out, okay, they're going to give out wristbands at this specific time. Oh, you're giving it away already. So
too soon to meet.
We're sitting there,
sorry.
And we went up and we got there. Speaking of too early, we got there too early. And they're like, nope, you guys got to go back down. So what we did was we literally just kind of stopped on a floor and just kept opening and shutting the door so no one else could get on the elevator, so nobody else could get into the area to get the wristbands. So we eventually get up to get the wristbands, and then we get the wristbands and they're like, come back at a certain time. So then we come back at a certain time, exact same game played. We played on the elevator and did stuff, and then there was this mass confusion of people running around. We end up we're about maybe 100 people back, but we're still feeling good because we're like, okay, we'll get in there. So it was like this long thing, and then it like circled around, and then in this whole area there was a big pit, and Ludacris and Tyrese were going to perform. So when they let us in, everybody went running to the front of the stage. We went all the way to the back because that's where the barricade was, where the actors and actresses were walking through to do photos and to answer questions from the press and stuff. So we camped out there while everyone was running to the concert. And then there were a number of other autograph collectors that are just like, oh, well, we'll be able to stand here. Well, they ended up kicking out all those autograph collectors and putting them way far away. So it was just basically like the three of us with our posters and pictures and stuff. So as you can see, there's two posters I have. This is one of them, but we had a really good day. Unfortunately, Paul Walker wasn't there that day, or The Rock. But, you got Vin Diesel, got Gal Gadot, got Gina Carano, Luke Evans. I mean, we got a lot of the cast members that day, and it was a lot of fun because it's like we had the whole area to ourselves, which never really happens when you're autographing a premiere. There's usually like tons and tons of people throwing stuff over you and trying to get their stuff signed before you can get yours signed.
Awesome. I have a couple of questions. One question from the crowd, Billy. So this is for you. So Billy's from Jeremy Lee. We don't know who he is. Do you know who he is, Ken? I don't know who he is.
No.
You might. What is John Travolta like for autographs?
John Travolta's he's in that Jessica Chastain range. He always comes over. He's super nice. His signature is not the most desirable signature. I mean, it's kind of like a J squiggle kind of thing. I mean, it just depends on how many things are there, but he'll sit there and he'll sign as long as he can, and take pictures with people. He's very nice to his fans. One of the good guys. You want to know what's funny is some of the biggest names in Hollywood are some of the nicest people. Like you would expect someone like Tom Cruise to just be like sitting on a pedestal, like everybody bow down to me. In fact, he will show up to a premiere an hour before everyone else. And I've seen this and I've been there where he will start on one end of Hollywood Boulevard. He'll have two publicists with him, and he'll go, as long as you're in the front row, and even if you're not, sometimes people can wiggle in and get stuff. He will go down all of Hollywood Boulevard, like a block or half a block, whatever, and sign for everyone. And the publicists are there; they are ahead of them, and you give them your phone or your camera, and so he'll sign, and then he'll turn around and take a picture with you, and then goes to the next person. He's there an hour before any of the other cast members shows up, just so he can take care of all the fans. Angelina Jolie, another one, huge name, one of the nicest celebrities out there, will always, take the time to sign for her fans. She can't always get to everybody, but sometimes they're only allotted a certain amount of time, but they'll sign. Johnny Depp's another one, man. If you're in the front, you put your stuff low because he usually will go down the line like this. But you put your stuff low, he goes down the whole line. He doesn't even watch his movies. So like he'll go and then do the press line and doesn't care like about the start of the movie because he doesn't watch them. So he's another one. Some of the smaller names are some of the ones that like think they're too big to take care of their fans. So it's kind of funny.
I will second that on but John Travolta, because I actually met him at 2019 Fan Expo up here in Toronto. And he actually stayed past closing to make sure everybody who was lined up got an autograph.
I believe it. Super guy.
I'm not a grapher like you folks are, but mine would be Sulu. I'm forgetting the name now. From Star Trek. I talked to him for like a long time. Why am I forgetting the name, Kent?
George Takei.
Yeah, George Takei. So that was my good experience. And the other one was Yondu. I'll show you mine yesterday. The guy who played Yondu, that guy was a riot at Fan Expo. And he stayed till the end too. Actually, the quietest guy was Bautista. I don't even think I heard a word out of him. I tried to talk to him, but whatever.
He's very quiet. He's very polite. He's very nice. Like he's a smart guy.
I'm sure he is, but for a wrestler, you think he's like bombastic, but he's not.
No, not at all. But
Cool.
he's usually fairly nice too. He'll just be real quiet about it. I've gotten him on wrestling cards, and he has a beautiful signature too.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I agree.
He does.
Yeah.
I don't know where I put mine, but I have it somewhere. My turn, Kent, or yours? I can't remember.
Your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, so you kind of touched on this, Billy, but I want to hear. I understand, like with COVID, it's affected your graphing. It's probably decreased your gas bill. But in terms of like how it's affected you, in terms of not just the private side, but just you personally and like your interaction, like what's the impact to you?
Well, one thing COVID has done. I mean, I take it very seriously, and I've taken it very seriously from the start. I don't go out very much at all. I'm pretty much locked in my 1-bedroom apartment, and Upper Deck is quite happy about it because I've got nothing to do other than build sets and work on sets. So I've gotten a lot of work done, and they like it. From an autograph standpoint, as I said, I don't want to go out. I don't like currently right now. I don't think it's safe to like go to Hollywood and try to get people at different events. I mean, there's really not many events to go to, but I don't want to do it right now. I want to make sure that everything is safe and that I don't stand a high percentage of catching anything. So from that standpoint, I don't really do much planning to go get autographs. As I said, there's no conventions going on right now. I think they're just starting up. Like a couple have just happened. Same with like card shows. They're just starting, and people are a little hesitant about it. And there might be more in the future, but I'm staying away from those right now too. So, as I said, that kind of leads you to private signings, and that leads you to just kind of doing some search. Now, you guys are members of card groups. I know there's plenty of card groups on Facebook. Well, there's autograph groups too.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I'm quite active on is Autograph Universe, which is a kind of like a sibling of Star Wars Autograph Universe, but it doesn't deal with Star Wars. It just deals with everything else. And so I'm quite active on there, and have a lot of friends that are moderators on that. And then there's other ones like Autograph City and Racked and Autographs 101. Like there's a whole bunch of different autograph Facebook groups similar to card Facebook groups. And I've purchased some stuff. I mentioned Anya Taylor-Joy. Like I just purchased a couple autographs from her because, as I said, that's one that I was looking for. I have a friend from New York that was selling some stuff, and that was one of the things he was selling. So he sold a couple autographs to me on Facebook. But I've done a couple private signings, but for the most part, you can find stuff on eBay. You can find stuff on other websites. The one thing about California is in Los Angeles area and whatnot is there's a lot of people that have worked on shows. There's a lot of people that have worked in the industry that have stuff that they don't care about. That it's just like, hey, I was a light guy on The Big Bang Theory, and they gave us these signed scripts, and I'll go on like Craigslist and find it, and I'll look, and I'm like, yep, that looks like everybody's autograph. And then you go and purchase it, and you can find some deals doing it that way too. You just have to do a little more work and be a little more creative to find autographs. But the other thing that I've been doing, I just got a new computer not too long ago and a new phone that kind of connect with each other. And I'm trying to do a big catalog of all my autographs, because I've got probably somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 autographs, just, photos on cards and stuff like that. So You know, I sit there and I'm like, that sounds like a lot, but then I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's like having, you know, that's just like having two 3,200 count boxes of autograph cards and trading cards. That's not that much. That's just a little amount of space. But when Upper Deck changed buildings, they were selling off some of the furniture, and I bought a filing cabinet, and I have all of my like all my photos and Itoya portfolio books just lined up on the shelves.
Do you consider yourself an expert in graphing, so you can tell a fake, like all that stuff? Or like, what kind of effort do you put in to make sure you don't get hosed?
Okay, I will say this first of all. As much as I've been talking, as excited as you guys get about the stuff that I have and that we might show pictures of, there's always someone better. There's always someone that has a bigger, better collection than you. There's plenty of people that have more autographs than me. There's plenty of people that have better autographs than me. I'm not on here to sit here and trying to brag about like I have this person, that person. I'm just like showing off some of the stuff that I thoroughly enjoyed getting and that I'm pretty proud of that I have in my collection.
For sure, and that's the point of having you on, Billy, because you are a genuine person. So just so everyone is aware, and Kent knows too, because he's hung out with me at the expo. I've known Billy for a long time, and the first time he came up to expo, he came and hung out with us at the Hobby Insider dinner, and I want to say Lone Star was at that time. I think, yeah,
Lone Star, yeah.
Yeah, and then you and I hit the nail on the head right away. So we got along real well. So it just became friends. And I've told Billy many times on Facebook, look, dude, you're a friend, not a person that working at Upper Deck that I need to get information from. We're friends. So Billy's one of those genuine people I'm proud to know in my life. So I'm glad that, you took the opportunity to talk today, and just a good example of inspiration, a good example of being genuine. So
he's not telling the whole story. The whole story was, when we're at Lone Star, I gave him like stacks and stacks of cards to pass out to everybody at the dinner from Upper Deck, and I'm assuming that bookshelf behind him is filled with all those cards that I gave him to pass out to everybody. No, I'm just kidding. But you were asking about there are times on these sites that people will be like, "Is this real?" And if it doesn't look even close, I start every single message that I will respond to somebody and say, I'm not an expert. I don't authenticate stuff, but this is what it is. Because I can't stand, there are some people out there that will like see something and they'll be like, oh, that's fake. Yeah. And all they have to base stuff on is sit down like convention signings where they're signing beautiful names. Yeah. Something that I'm reminded of right now. Now, whether it was real or not, I don't know. But someone posted a picture of a Jennifer Love Hewitt autograph, and she did a private signing about a year ago, and the signatures are every letter. Some of the, like you've seen, if you've seen our Goodwin Jennifer Love Hewitt cards, it's like that. It's every letter.
I have one.
I have one too in my little box here. I could show you. It might take a second to find, but
go ahead, show it.
All right, so
yeah, go ahead, Billy.
I gotta remember how far deep it is in here, but she has every freaking letter.
I have the same one.
Letter on it. There it is. Every letter. She's gorgeous. Now I've gotten her at different events where there's a lot of people, and it's a little messier. I mean, she's trying to sign for as many people as possible and whatnot, and it's a little bit messier. And this autograph that someone posted looked a little bit like one of the messy ones. I don't know if it was real or not. I didn't comment.
Sure.
But there are people like, nope, this isn't what I've gotten, so it can't be real. And you're just like, you want to see? I got a Russell Crowe that looks like this. Like, it's just like a squiggle, because he was just coming out. I'm like, Russell, can you sign? He's like, ugh, and just like grabs my pen, makes a mark. Jonah Hill, get a check mark if you're lucky.
Oh no.
So I try to stay away from the whole, is this real or is this not real? Just because, you kind of put your reputation on the line if you sit there and accuse someone of having a fake autograph, and you also can hurt someone's reputation.
Sure.
Because I have a lot of friends that are street graphers, And you know, some of their autographs, they don't necessarily look great, but I know they're real. So I stay away from it.
Yeah, smart. Um, so Kent, you got the next one, buddy.
Do you have any stories about your experiences being at Comic-Con?
You know, it's funny. I used to make fun of my sister for going to Comic-Con every year. She goes to Comic-Con and she goes to Dragon Con. And she went, and I'm like, fine, I'm gonna go. And I went to a Sunday, and Sunday is like it's there's all the good stuff's gone. All the good stuff is like Friday and Saturday. I went Sunday, and
Sure, yeah.
speaking of Jennifer Love Hewitt, there was like a Ghost Whisperer thing in one of the halls, and we actually got into that. And I must have taken about 2 million pictures of Jennifer Love Hewitt, because again, celebrities to me were like, oh my gosh, this is such a big deal. This is Jennifer Love Hewitt. But from there, she went again the next year, and we started getting into more lines, and I got like into the line for Shameless, and I met Emmy Rossum and the guy that was in that, and Two Broke Girls, and I got to meet Kat Dennings and Beth Bears.
Oh, cool.
Starting to like kind of get into into these signings, and then I met a couple friends that my friend Mike, who runs the website Mike the Fanboy, which kind of deals with a lot of interactions with celebrities, like different people write for him, and I used to write for him also, and kind of met him and started working with him and kind of learning the tricks of the trade. And come to find out, you got to get there early and in the line, so then you can get to these drawings and stuff. So we started doing that. Then it became like serious, and you know, you would spend the night. I was the guy. I would drive down. I would sleep overnight outside, and then let everybody come in line with me. So like Mike and a couple of my friends would join the line with me. Then we'd go in, get the signings, pull tickets and stuff. And then what I would do, because that usually ended at about like 9 o'clock in the morning, is then I would go to his room, because he always got one of the hotels right next to the convention center, and he would let me take a shower and get dressed and everything. So that way I didn't have to pay for a hotel to go to Comic-Con, because that can be kind of pricey.
Absolutely.
And I would, but in payment, I guess you could say, I would save spots in line for these guys. And then it just got like, you had to have someone there all day. And then you met the people in front of you, and they would save stuff and you would save stuff for them. And, you know, but I got some amazing pieces. One of the first times I really wanted to sleep overnight, I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan. And I got the cast piece of How I Met Your Mother. I think you got a picture of that one. And I literally, like, when I got to Colby Smulders, I was like, blah, blah. And she's like, I'm Kobe. I'm like, I know who you are. Like, yes. And I didn't even get to talk to Jason Segel, because I was too much talking to and like spewing my love towards Colby Smulders. Another one that was a big one, and this is a funny story, but there was a rumor that there was going to be a Batman versus Superman signing, and everybody knew it was going to happen. And so DC, one morning, you got in the line, and I was fortunate enough to get in there, and I was in the first, you know, like 30 something people. So I'm like guaranteed, because there were 50 wristbands for the secret signing. So there was a secret signing, and then there was Jim Lee. And so everybody knew it was going to be the cast of Superman versus Batman. So we're getting in line, and the guy in front of me, I kid you not, he's just like, oh, I can't decide. And we're like, are you serious right now? Like, that's, even if you flip it, like, I rarely sell my autographs. Have I? Yes. But do I do it very often? Not very often at all. But that's a $1,500 autograph right there. Easy. And the guy ended up taking the Jim Lee because he wasn't sure. Like, oh my God. And it was Ben, it was Cavill, it was Gal, it was Amy Adams, wow. It was Holly Hunter, it was Jesse Eisenberg, and it was Zack Snyder. They were all there. it was one of the craziest signings that I've been to for Comic-Con, and I was ecstatic about that one. And then I've gotten stuff, other shows that I like. It's funny, like sometimes you'll just get in the lines. You'll just be like, okay, I'll just like overflow lines, just try to get whatever you can. But I've gotten some good stuff. Sons of Anarchy cast, Breaking Bad cast. One of my favorite. I do the Game of Thrones as much as I could every year, and one of the fun things is I'd always get a quote from Sophie Turner. Like I'd have them put their character name, but for Sophie Turner, for 2 years in a row, I'd be like, "Hey, can you put you're gonna die tomorrow, Lord Bayless. Sleep well." And then another one is Lord whatever. Don't seize the last word. I'm sure it was something clever. And so she'll write down the quotes for me. The one she's like, this one's long. I'm like, sorry. She's like, I don't care. And she'll sign it. They're always having a good time. Westworld was another one I was super excited about. I already told you I'm a big fan of Evan Rachel Wood. So she saw me, and I waited to be the last one in line, and she saw me. She's like, what's up? I'm like, when are you guys gonna be playing again? And she's like, yeah, I've been busy filming, and I got a quick little couple seconds to talk. I'm not going to lie and say I talked to someone for like 2 or 3 minutes. It was like a quick 15, 30 seconds, but it was still nice. Another one that was huge, Ready Player One.
Right.
I literally, like, Steven Spielberg's right in front of me, and I'm just like, I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Like, your movies is what I grew up on. Like, I'm like, thank you so much. And then he's like, thank you. And he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Billy. And he puts 2 Billy, and I'm like, darn it, now I can't sell this. Not that I would sell it, but I was just like, oh, you don't have to, like, no one else put, if everyone, I've had times where I've had everyone put my name on it. I don't care. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have so much stuff from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, go ahead and put my name, like, 2 Billy. And then I'll slip little, like, photo ops that I have of, like, me and Chloe Bennett. I'm like, hey, can you get this too? And she's like, sure. And Elizabeth Henstridge, your girl. I'm like, can you sign this photo? Yeah, sure. Like, they'll sign other stuff. I'm like, make it out to Billy. And they're cool.
There's a million Billies in the world, Billy. So I think you're okay.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, Jeremy loves. I think that's How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
I've got show him something else that I collect. Since Jeremy looks like he's asking 2 questions, I'll talk about the first one first. Show him the picture that you see, Colby Smulders.
Okay.
It's a 3-picture one. I collect screen worn outfits also. So I've got a couple sites, and I'll collect screen worn memorabilia. And one of my prized possessions is I have a Robin Sparkles it's Colby Smulders, but it's a Robin Sparkles screen worn T-shirt, and you can see the COA in the shirt, and that's a picture of her wearing the shirt from the show, but with beads and stuff. And I was at a premiere, and there's a video of it somewhere, and I'm just like, can you please sign the Robin? And she and I'm like, can you put Robin Sparkles on there? And she's like, I gotta go. But she signed like 2 things, but she made sure she signed that, and she signed my friend's picture on the way into the after party. So, nice. But I've got a lot of screen worn stuff that I get signed. It's something different, like people talk about getting different kind of cards, whether it's, parallels or just different inserts and stuff. There's different things to collect autograph wise. Some people love to collect like Funko Pops.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten into it, but man, there's a huge market for signed Funko Pops. A lot of people like to collect posters. That's been, as of late, I've kind of found out like what a big market some of these people that collect whole like 1-sheet posters signed. I started actually doing that a little bit, getting some of the posters. I had to buy one of those big art portfolio books that fits posters that cost like $200. But there's so much different stuff that you can get signed out there. But yeah, I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan. I didn't mean to cut Jeremy's question off from the office.
No, it's all good, dude. This is what we're doing, right? There's just a question come up. Jeremy's also asking about The Office. I'm assuming you mean the American version of The Office.
I've gotten a number of people from that. I have Steve Carell on a big 16 by 20 And it's just like a picture of him, and it's one of those like kind of paintings that you see like they do street art paintings, and it says "That's what she said" underneath it. I got him to sign that. I have a cast piece that I'm working on, but I keep getting everybody else on other stuff. Jenna Fisher I've never met, but I've gotten Krasinski. I've gotten Ed Helms. I've gotten Steve Carell. I've got a number of these people. I've gotten Dwight Schrute. What's his name? Why am I drawing a blank? The guy that plays Dwight. Rainn Wilson. I've got him in a book signing. Yeah. And so I've gotten all these people. I just have never put it all together. That's the tough thing about doing cast pieces too. It's just like trying to get everybody. I've kind of stepped away a little bit from doing as many cast pieces because it just takes time. You've got a picture of like probably and I apologize if I'm jumping to somebody's question, but like my favorite item and it took about 2 to 2.5 years to get done is my Breaking Bad piece. It's a 12 by 18, and I kept getting people at different things. Like Bryan Cranston got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, so I got like 2 or 3 people there. Then I got some people at an award show, and I literally was just waiting on Jonathan Banks, who's a really nice guy. But I'm sitting there, and I'm at an award show, and they're coming out in the limos, and they cut off the street, so it's like there's the only traffic is the people's limos, and it's not even that busy. And I'm like, Jonathan, can you please sign? I'm like, you're the last one I need. And he's like yelling back, your mother. And I'm just like, please. And he's just like, ah. I go, you're the last one. He goes, these cops are there. I can't cross. I'm like, no, the cops are there to protect you when you come across the street and sign for us. And he's just like, rah. And he finally comes over. He comes straight to me. He's like, all right, I'll sign one for you. And I'm like, great, sign right here. I'm like, right in this corner. And he signed it, and I'm like, it's done. Like 2.5 years. And if I think you got a picture of it at me.
I think it's a good segue. I'm gonna start showing them. We have one more question, then we'll go through all your
no problem.
But Billy, tell me it's not satisfying when you get that one last signature that you need to complete a piece. Like seriously.
Another one was Parks and Rec. And it was Rashida Jones of all, like I just kept missing her, or she wouldn't come over and sign, and it was just like killing me. And I went to a Q&A for that cop spoof show that she's on, and super nice, signed it. It was funny because I ran into Retta at something else, and I'm like, can you sign it? And she doesn't. The funny thing is she doesn't sign anymore. But I was just like, can you sign it? She's like, sure. And she signs. She's like, who do you got left? Because I told him, like, you're one of the last ones I need. I go, Rashida Jones. And she literally turns at me and she's like, good luck with that. And walks away. I was like, oh, no. And it took a year. But that was another one that took a couple years to get. And I've been on set at Parks and Rec. Like, they filmed in Los Angeles. And we'd sit there and we'd wait around. And Chris Pratt was super nice. And Aubrey Plaza at the time was really nice too. So the cast of Parks and Rec was definitely fun.
Cool. I'll ask the next one here. So, Billy, the furthest you've traveled to get an autograph?
Furthest, probably
plane involved?
Well, I did go to Houston for Comic Palooza for Emilia Clarke. Yep. And here's the funny thing. You talk about a plane. So I'm sitting there, and I had to get my seat changed or something. I got my seat changed, and I was like row 3. And so I'm like, oh, I might be in first class. Well, I wasn't. I was the first seat behind first class. And I'm getting there, and I was running late. And so I get there, and there's like a little small circle right when they start calling people off. And I look up, and Emilia Clarke is standing right in front of me. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And so you sit there and say, how far did you travel? Well, I traveled to Houston, but she's on the freaking flight, and she was in the seat in front of me. But I couldn't be like, there was a wall, so I couldn't like the thing, so I couldn't be like, oh. So I'm texting my friends who are like, they were gonna pick me up, and they're like, oh, just take an Uber to the hotel. I'm like, you're going to want to come to the airport because Amelia Clark is sitting in front of me. And so they came and picked me up, and I lost her. Like, she got off, and it took a while. And then she, I guess, had to go to the bathroom, came back. And what sucks is the people from the con were there, and they almost made like a semicircle around her, and she was like hiding. She's not I don't want to say she's socially awkward, but she just doesn't like, big crowds either. And I think she's even mentioned like she would rather like sign something than take photos with people because it's like people getting up in her business. But she wouldn't sign. And I understand, like, she's in town to do a signing. Why would you, why would they let her sign? Why would she sign? I'm just mad I didn't see her standing right in front of me sooner. I would have tried to take at least a picture and been like, oh, this was cool. But so that's probably the farthest. Like, I don't count flying out for Comic-Con, stuff like that. I was out in California.
I was thinking something you went specifically, not a con, but somewhere you went specifically to get an autograph. But it sounds like that you haven't done that. But actually, I just thought of something interesting. An accidental autograph. Have you ever had an accidental one where you're just somewhere at the right place at the wrong time? And you're like, oh.
My favorite autograph and my favorite photo op of all time. I'm at the premiere for The Newsroom, which is an HBO show. It's Alan Sorkin. It's got like Olivia Munn and Jeff Daniels and a bunch of good names. And I didn't even think about it, but other HBO people showed up, and it's like, oh shoot, there's Kristen Davis from Sex and the City. I'm like, I had nothing for her. So what some people will do is they'll bring like photo paper or index cards or whatever and have them sign stuff. So then this big guy comes out. I was like, you got to be kidding me. My favorite show of all time, and my show that like I turned off all the lights. No one in my house was allowed to even talk. Sunday night at 8 p.m. we watched Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I'm Italian. I got an Italian family, and here comes James Gandolfini. And I was just like, wow. I was shaking. Like there are still times that I get nervous, 100%. I've seen a lot of people, so I don't get as nervous as I used to. But James Gandolfini, and I am just like, oh my goodness. And he signed the blank thing, and I'm like, could I please get a photo? And he's like, give me your camera. This guy is the opposite of what he plays on TV. It was so nice. Grabs my camera, takes the picture of it. And I was just... I didn't even care about all the other autographs I got that day. I met James Gandolfini. I got his autograph. To this day, I regret there was a police poker tournament that was in Los Angeles that, he signed a whole bunch of stuff. I had to work that day, and I didn't. I'm like, I won't take it off. Like, I probably could have found someone to work for me, and I didn't go. And he signed a bunch there, and then, 8 months later, he passed away, and that was a tough one because like I was such a huge fan of his and his show. Like, I'm never going to have that complete cast piece of Sopranos unless, I buy it, or unless I put like everybody on this blank piece of paper, which I really don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm actually going to share screen, and we're going to go through some of your autographs here. So I'm just going to share, and you're going to speak to it.
Yeah, I just sent you some of the fun stuff and some of the things that I personally like. So you were asking, this is like the card business. I've at Upper Deck, I don't do, like, people are like, oh, do you get to meet Michael Jordan? Do you get to meet LeBron James? I don't really get to do any signings, but I go to the UFC Fight Expo every year, and Chrissy Blair was going to be in our Goodwin set, and I was like, if you guys want, I can go do the signing for you and get all the cards, and like I'll do it for free. I go, I'm already going to be down there. Like, you don't have to, like, I don't have to like clock me in or anything like that. Yeah. So this is from the Chrissy Blair signing. This was my only Upper Deck signing I ever did. So I wanted to show that off in case you asked me the question about whether or not I personally did any of the signings.
So we'll probably, when we go to, like, our next segment will be on the non-sports piece. We'll come back to this, but this is an important segue. There's some here you're going to have to explain because I think they're funny. So let's just go through it. So what is the story behind this?
Okay. The Bee in Apartment 23 is one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love Kristen Ritter. And in one of the episodes, she gives a girl what's called a smack witch. And she's like, your head's the meat, my hands are the bread. And she just smacks this girl. And so for 2 years seems to be a popular number with me. But for 2 years, I had a bet with a friend on who could be the first one to get a photo op with her giving a smack witch. And she turned me down like 2 or 3 times before this. And so this was at a Q&A for Jessica Jones. And I'm just like, Kristen, I go, I got a bet with a friend. I go, I get a free dinner if I could just get a picture of a smack witch. And she's like, okay. And so this is a picture of the smack witch, which then later I got signed. I think you can see that it's signed also.
Yeah,
and she just started laughing when she did a book signing and just started laughing when she saw that. She's like, when was this? I'm like, it was she's like, oh yes, I remember now. So that's what that one is. And I like to get like photo ops signed too. The next one I think you had was the Emma Stone. So
what's this from?
So I told you I'm in some Star Wars groups things too. And so Emma Stone, I've got some Emma Stones, and I think that skit of where they do the Star Wars auditions or whatever, that's what this is from. And she's just like, I played an Asian woman in this movie. She's like, I can play, whatever. And so she saw this and just started, I'm like, can you get the Star Wars shot? Because she kept skipping me. And then she saw it and she just laughed and signed it. But I have it also, I didn't send it to you, but I have the John Hamm solo where he's like posted the guns dressed as Han Solo also. So I've got a couple of those just fun ones.
So you're very deliberate on the pictures you choose.
I like black and whites. I like photo shoot kind of shots. Yeah. I don't do like movie shots as much. And then I do like the black and white photo shoots are basically the main ones I go after. But when it's Michelle Pfeiffer, you can't get anything but Catwoman. There was only 2 of us, and she's like, I'll do one each. The one that you just skipped. So
yeah, I'm going to go there. Sorry, I'm being a little crazy with my mouse here. I'll let you finish on this one, then I'll go to the next one.
Oh, that was it. It was just she's a tough autograph to get. This is Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey.
Oh yeah.
Super nice. Like she's not that persona that she led on to be when she was a UFC fighter. Now she's gotten tougher because she's found out that people have taken advantage of her and like sold autographs and stuff. She used to personalize everything. And you can tell, like, a lot of Ronda Rousey autographs probably were personalized and they wiped them off. But this one in particular, I have one that's like anything's possible in 16 seconds, and it's from her fight that she won in 16 seconds. This one, Eminem wrote a song, and in the lyrics, he called Ronda Rousey a slaughterhouse in a blouse. And so I had her write the inscription, slaughterhouse in a blouse, on this one, and she really liked that also.
It'd be cool if Eminem to sign this one.
Dude, he's tough. That's like a $1,000 plus autograph.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a tough one. Margot Robbie, one of my favorites. She's like, I've got a bunch of photos. This is my only Harley Quinn. Like everybody always gets Harley Quinn. I'm just like, I got to get at least one Harley Quinn. So I went to a Q&A for I, Tonya. She was super nice. I got a couple photos with her. Sebastian Stan was there. Allison Janney was there. But she's a big hockey fan. And so I brought her a number of I got her like a Chris Kreider autograph and a few other Ranger autographs, cards. I was just like, hey, I know you're a big Ranger fan. Just wanted to give you this to you because, you're always nice and sign autographs for us. She's like, oh, my gosh, thanks. So she signed a couple things for me that day and took a picture or two. So she's really nice. It's just a matter of how big the crowd is with her. She doesn't like to have way too many people there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the story behind this one?
Okay, so one of my favorite shows also is The League. Okay. And it's absolutely hysterical. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I
have not. No.
Okay, it's got a lot of it's a lot of comedians in it, and they bring in a lot of special guests. Well, it's about a fantasy football league, and they have a trophy called the Shiva. and that's the picture of the trophy. And so what I did was I had all of the people on the show, because everybody won it throughout the whole 8 seasons of the show. So I have a picture with all of the characters from the show. The guy that plays Taco, I'm drawing blanks on all the guys. Duplass, Mark Duplass is one of them. Nick Kroll's one of them. There's Adam Brody won it. The girl that plays the Shiva, which is there's a fake picture of her, is Janina, who was on True Blood. So that I have her on it, but basically I have it inscribed, and it took forever because I got the main guys pretty early. The one that was tough was Adam Brody, because he was on the show, but only for 1 season, but he won it. And I finally got him about a year and a half ago at a premiere. And so that was a fun one to get. A lot of people that love the show are in awe of this autograph collection there.
I'm just going to quickly say hi to a couple of people. So 90s Hockey Collector, thanks for coming to see the show. Jeremy loves the league. I haven't seen it, so I'll have to check it out. And I think Yannick also likes the league.
The Shiva, yes.
Yeah. So I'll go to the next one here. Where are we here? This one's the one I liked.
So
yeah.
I as I said, I love black and whites. I saw this one time, and it was going to be at a premiere that one of these guys was supposed to be at. So I had this thing for 2 years too. Again, 2 years is a popular number, but I think Damon was the first one I got. Then I got Brad Pitt, and then I went to the Tomorrowland premiere and got George Clooney, and he saw it and just kind of got a nice little chuckle out of it. But it's an Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12 photo. But that's one that when I start framing stuff, I'm just worried if you frame stuff, you want to get it professionally done so the autographs don't fade. But if this is one that eventually I'm going to want to get professionally done, because it's just a fun picture, and it's obviously 3 huge names in the industry.
Yep. Then this one is, I don't know who this is.
That's Lena Headey. That's
no kidding.
That's
Game cool.
of Thrones. She did a signing to support a charity, and I had a long beard, and I was just like, can you just grab my beard for a fun picture? She's like, sure. She grabbed it. She got into it, as you can see. She was enjoying it, and I finally got that signed a few years later, probably about 4 or 5 years later. But that was just a fun private signing that she did.
Cool. This one is this is your employee card.
This is my employee card. So one of the things that we got at Upper Deck was an uncut sheet of one of our Alien sets, and so I was going to have Sigourney Weaver sign the big sheet.
Sure.
And I go into the theater, and it had a sign that said, "Nothing larger than this can come into the theater." And I'm like, well, if I turn it this way and roll it, it'll fit through. They're like, no, you can't bring it in. And I was freaking out because I'm just like, I've got nothing else for her to sign. And then luckily I remembered that it came with a little COA. So I ended up getting her to sign the COA. So, I've got the uncut sheet. And then this is the COA that you can put with it that's signed by Sigourney Weaver.
So Alien is probably one of my top movie franchises. I saw that when I was 9 years old. I love that movie.
Nice.
I love that movie. You already showed this one, so we're going to skip this one.
Yep.
This one.
That's my Big Bang Theory. If you look closely in the lower right corner and the top middle, Jim Parsons actually signed this twice. There are ways to remove autographs. I'm just too scared to do it because I don't want to ruin it. But it's to get the whole cast is tough. You can get stuff with. I have stuff with just the guys. I have stuff with the 5. But to get Melissa and Malam also it's a little bit harder to get everybody on it. So this is one of my favorite ones because I like the show, and it's got everybody on there.
Billy, who would you say is the toughest one of the group there?
The toughest one it's kind of probably Malam. She's very tough. Yes. One of the ones that's there's a hit. Most of the guys are fairly nice.
Yeah.
Parsons, interesting. Parsons hit or miss. So there'll be like 3 times that he doesn't sign. And then the time you get him, he'll sign everything you have. So you just got to catch him on the right day, and he's super nice. But there'll be other times that he's just like, sorry guys. But yeah, Mom's a little bit on the tougher side. She's not bad. She's just, you asked which one's the toughest one. She's probably the toughest one. The other guys don't really care.
My late father loved this show. He used to watch it all the time.
The tough part about Kaylee is her autograph is just like a KC, and sometimes it's
Right,
I have some that are literally just like 3 mountains, and so it's hard to authenticate her autograph sometimes. Like I turned in a bunch of stuff, and I only got like out of the 6 things, I think 2 or 3 passed. So she's a tough one to get authenticated.
Are these all authenticated?
This isn't. Some of these are. Some of them aren't. Some of the ones you've shown, like the Michelle Pfeiffer's authenticated. The Anne Hathaway and Jessica Chastain's authenticated. There's other ones that are authenticated. Comic-Con posters I don't authenticate because everybody recognizes the Comic-Con poster. If you're looking for a Comic-Con poster, you know what it is and you know how it was signed. And there's a bunch of them just like it, so you know what to look for.
Do you use Beckett or JSA to authenticate?
I 100% use Beckett.
Yeah.
I trust them more. A few years ago, Beckett really, they went after some of the top authenticators, and I believe they have the top authenticators, and so I trust their opinion. I've seen them work, and they know their stuff, and they've got a database that is second to none. So I definitely, as you see, I got my Beckett slab right here. This was one of the private signings during the early part of COVID. I was just like, man, I'm not spending money on anything. And Millie Bobby Brown had a signing, so I got one of the Stranger Things cards signed. I just love this insert that they did was nice. It just brings back memories of old cards that I used to collect as a kid. So I've
not actually seen the show, so I don't know. I'll trust you on that one.
I thought this came out really well, so I just wanted to show that one off.
Can't you have any questions?
That's a really nice. Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I'm just admiring his collection.
Yeah. We just saw this one. This one. This is Game of Thrones, I guess.
So that was
Yes.
one of at signing. Yep, Game of Thrones. One of my Amelia Clarks. As I said, I got a number of cards signed, and I got a bunch of 16 by 20 signed. So, I asked her, I'm like, could I get like a real nice like signature, like a full Amelia Clark? And she's like, this is how I sign my name. So you can see there's a little bit more squiggle after the E and the C, but that's her signature.
Well, she looks like she was half-hearted.
That's how she signs. What they all look
like. There's a half heart here. That's why I said that.
Oh, gotcha.
This next one. So this one I can dig. I love this.
Yeah. So remember, I was talking earlier about like getting cards signed that might not necessarily be in the set. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 character cards, and I've been working on getting all of those signed. And this is an example of one that unfortunately we didn't get as a signer, but I got signed at an award show when he came down the line, and so I got Bradley Cooper on a rocket card and got that slab. So that's one of my insert sets that I try to collect. Is the Guardians?
How is Bradley Cooper when you're in person? Is he actually okay? Yeah,
Bradley Cooper is not bad. Bradley Cooper, when he's really trying to promote something, will be super nice. But keep in mind, Bradley Cooper for a while got nominated for an Oscar 4 years in a row. I mean, like supporting actor, whatever. But can you imagine, like, having to like us autograph collectors are going to all these Q&As and going to all these award shows and stuff like that. So he's being bombarded for 4 straight years. And, by the 4th year, he had kind of like, I think, gotten a little bit tired of it. So he took about a year or 2 off from really, signing stuff. But then when that movie with Lady Gaga came out, he switched it back on and became a really nice signer again. So I think it just depends. He's not a bad guy. He's pretty cool. He just sometimes just doesn't feel like doing it.
One of my favorite shows. So one of the inspirations for this show, Kent knows about this, is Inside the Actors Studio. It's one of my favorite shows.
Oh,
and Bradley Cooper was in the audience asking, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Robert De Niro. I'm not 100% sure, but Bradley Cooper was one of the guys in the audience asking the question.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? And then I believe he came on stage. I can't 100% say that, but he was it was interesting to see that. Anyway, that show was one of my favorite shows of all time. So there's an autograph I want to get. I want to get that guy's autograph, and I'm forgetting the name right now. But so this picture, I can admire. My wife is watching somewhere in this house, so I'm going to say this tastefully. I can admire this picture.
This is one of my cleaner ones. So there is a fun story about this one. So Jessica Alba has been my number one for years, and the first time I ever got her, first time I was trying to get her, I was in line and I was one of the first people in line, and it was like a straight line. And then they ended up switching sides where they put the barricades and everything. And somehow I ended up at the end. I was like, how did this happen? And I was new. So I didn't raise holy hell. And so she comes down the line, and she was like 8 months pregnant too. But she came over, she's signed for my friend right next to me, got to me and put down the pen. I was devastated. Everybody else got an autograph except me. So then the next time, same thing happened. They start us in a line, and then they end up doing it where it goes across. And I was like one of the first people in line, and somehow I'm second row. I was like, how did this happen again? And I was just like, this better not end bad. So this is a 12 by 18. So she comes over again, and she starts signing, and I put this guy cut in front of me, and this time I complained. I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be here. I was here before you, but he wouldn't move. So she comes around. I put my stuff over top. She grabs my board, signs big, beautiful. Like, this is a very good signature for her. Signs big and beautiful. And then there's even a video of it, and the guy had like a Dark Angel like DVD case, and she skips him. And she goes and then she leaves. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, karma is a bee. And you can see in the video, or you can hear in the video, Jessica, Dark Angel, can you say Jessica? And I'm just like, oh, don't feel bad for you at all. So this was my first Jessica Alba. Since then, I've gotten some other ones, some Sin City images, some photo shoot stuff. But I just had to show that one off.
I can admire it. I'm allowed to say that.
Yes,
I love this one. Dirty Harry.
As I said, I love black and whites. I've wanted to get this shot done for years, and I had a friend that had it, and we came up with a trade. And I finally
love it.
This is you talk about grails. This was one of my grails, was to get this picture, and so I'm quite happy with that.
Hey, Facebook user, yes, that's a great Jessica Alba picture. But I don't know your name, so just type it below or go to StreamYard and authorize your name. And then Josh, yeah, that was a good story about karma. There's many of those that go around, so more to come. Sorry, go ahead and finish up your story on this one.
That was it. I've wanted this shot for years, and it couldn't be any cleaner. It's a beautiful signature in the right spot. Here's another one of my favorites. Mary Elizabeth Winston, super nice.
Love it.
And she went all out on it. I mean, personalized it. She put the X's on there for all the X's from the movie. I told you this is one of my favorite movies. I actually have a cast piece that has almost everybody. I'm missing Anna Kendrick. I'm missing the twins. I'm missing one other person, and I'm missing Culkin, the kid from Macaulay Culkin's brother, who's on Succession. I got everybody else. It's funny, like Chris Evans at the Civil War premiere is like going down the line, and he was going to stop right before me, and the publicist is like, okay, we can only get one more, and it was going to be like the guy next to me, and then he sees like I have Scott Pilgrim, like everybody else has Captain America. He literally reaches over just so he could sign the Scott Pilgrim thing, and then that was the last thing he signed. But like I said, I'm a big Scott Pilgrim fan.
Nice.
I have a nice cast piece, but this is just one of my favorites from her because it's so cool. This is the Breaking Bad piece I was talking about. This is
Lovely.
my trail. This is the my product. And if you look at it, with all the different events that I went to get this done, the fact that everyone signed in black, especially when blue is one of the more popular pens to use for autographs.
Yeah.
Nobody signed over each other. Everyone signed in the sky, and this isn't me like asking them to sign anywhere. It's hard for me to find a better Breaking Bad piece than this one. And what's funny is some people will actually print this image, but they'll make it an 11 by 14 because they don't like to print 12 by 18s, and they cut off Jeremy Banks.
Oh,
And so it's like Bob Odenkirk. It starts at Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
Or it's at Jeremy. Jonathan Banks. So yeah, this is my like gem that I own that I'm the most proud of.
So I watched. This is one of the. So when my dad was sick, I used to go back to Kingston to see him, and I would binge watch this show. God, it was terrible. I would watch for like 3 or 4 hours at a time.
It's so good.
We have a question for you, Billy.
Yes.
Do you prefer to have your autographs personalized or not? Sorry if you discussed this already. I had to step away for a bit.
I don't have a preference, but I don't mind it. If someone's like, who do you want it made out to? I'll be like Billy with a Y. And there'll be some people that I'll say before they even sign, because I know that they might not sign if I don't say, can you make this out to, or whatever. I went to the Spirit Awards last year, and I had some photos, and one of them was Rachel Brosnahan, who's super nice, and she kept skipping me, and I was getting frustrated. And so I'm moving around trying to get her, and finally I'm like, Rachel, can you make this out to Billy? And she literally, as soon as I said that, grabs it and signs it. Same thing with Amber Heard. Now, I had already gotten her on one thing, but I had two images, so I kind of followed along, and it was a nice image. And I'm just like, Amber, could you just make it to Billy? And she's like, okay. Like, a lot of times if you give them a name, they're more willing to sign for you. I don't ask for it.
I actually stopped personalizations because I literally had to pull up my driver's license for people to spell my first name. I gave up. I was like, you know what? Either I name myself Andy or Bob, it was not worth it. Starbucks, I'm known as Bob, so I just gave up with the personalization.
I'm not going to be upset if they personalize. Like I said, I have sold a couple things, and obviously it's a lot easier to sell something if it doesn't have personalization down the road. Like, as I said, I don't really sell, but COVID comes around. What if the card market isn't as popular as it is right now? What if Upper Deck had to lay off a bunch of people and I wasn't working? I would have I have a stash of autographs that if I had to, I don't want to, but if I had to, I've got a nest egg. So would I prefer it to be personalized? No, I prefer it not to be personalized, but I don't have a problem if it is. This is one of my first. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, remember me when you went to Michael Rucker, who played Rondo?
Yes.
He was like, "What was your name again?" He was so intrigued by your name.
I know. I'm like, I'm eat. Then I'm like, I'm eat. Then I'm like, here's my driver's license. I actually have that. But he was like, so just a quick segue. He was awesome because I love the movie, right? He was my favorite character, him and Bautista. But the guy was intense. He was like, "What's your name?" Like he just plays just like the character. Anyway, that's what I got done. I can see the autograph right there.
He's a funny one too. If you get him at a premiere, he literally will sign, and when he's done signing, look out. He throws the pen up in the air like 10, 20 feet, and then you're just kind of like, okay.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. He was
like, I'm done.
I'm a pretty big guy, right? So for him to come in, like he's like, "What can I do for you?" Like his face is this close. I'm like, "Wow, dude, just okay." And then he's like pumping up the crowd. Like, "Are you all here to see me?" I'm like, "Wow, this is cool." He got into it. So he is like his character though, like Yondu. Wow.
Totally. He's yeah. I agree.
Sorry, I have Happy Feet up here.
So that's my only Robin Williams. This is one of the first premieres I ever went to.
Oh, no kidding.
I got Robin Williams, and I actually took a video of him. Like after he signed my thing, I was just taking video of him signing autographs, which was kind of cool. But it's got a couple other people. But I just wanted to Like that's one of my first premieres.
Nice.
I think Robin Williams was such a highlight. Here's my How I Met Your Mother,
There
where
you
I'm
go.
acting like a
Yeah, we
buffoon.
saw this earlier. So
Yep.
Jeremy, Q for you. And we reviewed this earlier.
Yep.
Here's Tommy.
So for the longest time, I kept getting
Oh.
Tom Cruise on
There.
stuff that was not Top Gun because I'm like, oh, he's promoting Oblivion. So I have a Tom Cruise on Oblivion. Oh, he's promoting the worst one. I have Tom Cruise on A Rock of Ages, and I'm just like,
What was that one?
it was like it was
The
based
musical.
off
The
yeah. So finally, I'm going to a Mummy, like this promotional thing they were doing with the Mummy, and Tom Cruise was there. I'm like, I don't care about the Mummy. I'm getting Top Gun signed. So there's my Top Gun Tom Cruise that I'm
Did you say
happy
the
to
Mummy?
have.
He was in the Mummy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Canadian guy the main guy in the Mummy?
Jake Johnson's in it. Sophia something or other. Yeah. So
here's the when you sent me the images, this is like my bucket list because you have Fox Mulder, Gillian Anderson, and Dana Scully, and my favorite which bucket list is to get Chris Carter.
So this is a great segue then, I think, to start talking. I mean, we don't have to go over all of my autographs. I think we should.
Well, let's save this one. I'm gonna come. Okay. There's a couple I want to talk to you real quick about.
Okay.
This one.
As I said, like I would go to concerts and God bless her. She's going through a lot of shit right now, but pardon my language. You know, this is after a concert, and she came out and was, you know, signed some stuff and took some pictures, and this is one of my pictures. I've got tons and tons of pictures with her.
I have to show this one because this is another highlight.
That's my other grail piece with the Eastwood. That was the other big key on that big trade I made. Was this Harrison Ford and the Clint Eastwood. And I've always wanted this shot done, and my friend was lucky enough to get it. He already had it in multiple sizes, so he's a big shoe guy. So I went and bought a pair of like Jordan something or others, and we traded some autographs. This is one of my favorites. So this is Sophie Turner at the Rangers Red Wings game, and they put the Jumbotron on her, and she had a full glass of wine. And so she just starts chugging it, and she finished the whole thing. And there's a video, and she like wipes her mouth, and wine's coming down her face. And you can see Mr. Jonas right next to her. But I was at the Dark Phoenix thing, and I'm like, this would be so funny to get signed. And she saw it and just laughed and signed it.
So we have a couple of questions, Billy, just before I get into the non-sport stuff. First of all, I want to make a quick segue. Do you need to get a drink of water or anything? Are you good, Billy?
No, I'm good.
Kent?
I'm
Kent,
good.
you're good? Okay, so Chris, welcome to the show. Chris, he's going to watch the earlier parts later. Favorite music autograph, dream get. This is for you.
Gwen Stefani was probably my favorite. I was a big No Doubt fan back in the days when Tragic Kingdom came out. It's funny because I actually saw them before Tragic Kingdom because my friend took me to. They played at this club that was under a bowling alley in Grand Valley, where I went to school in Grand Rapids, right by Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so I saw them play, didn't know who they were. Later found out, oh, that was No Doubt. But just loved them and got her. The one time I got her, it was at a premiere that, when you're talking about surprise people showing up, she showed up to a premiere, and I was like, oh, shoot, and got her. And then another time was absolutely hysterical. It was the Monster Inc. premiere, and she was there with Gavin and her kids. Well, they had like this big playland for the pre-party or after party or whatever for the movie. Kids' movies a lot of times will have like a big play area because they invite all the celebrities with kids. So somehow I got kind of cut off in an area I wasn't supposed to be, but they let us stay there. They're like, well, if you're here, then you can stay there. And there was like 5 of us. And so we could see the people in the party, and Gavin was there, her husband, the lead singer of Bush, and these 2 German people like are calling him over. He calls over. He's like, can you get Gwen to, or it's like, can you sign this? And he signs like, could you get Gwen to sign for us too? And he goes, well, she's her own person. And he's like, well, can you just give her these things to sign? I was like, and I had a record, a picture disc from the band that I already had all 3 of these guys. And I'm like, can you give her this too? And he walks it over there. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like we're making Gavin do the work for us. And she signed it, and I got that. And then the other time and I wish I had the picture. She did. I waited overnight on Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving dinner, I went to the Grove, and she did a meet and greet for her holiday CD the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. And so I got there early the night before, went to that, and I have an amazing picture where I literally told her, I'm like, this is going to be my Christmas card, so make it look good. And she literally is just like all over me, like picture. Couldn't have come out better. People are like, is this real? Like, did you Photoshop this? I'm like, nope. And she has this gold dress on, looks absolutely stunning. So, you know, not the biggest band in the world, but I've always been a huge fan of Gwen Stefani.
Nice. So cool. Kent, do you want to do our little wrap up, and then we'll get into the next piece? Or are you okay?
I'm okay.
Ken's gonna rap.
Oh, he's gonna do a rap.
Ken's a rapper.
No.
Yeah, Kent's a wrap up. He goes by KG. That's his KG. Okay, so we're gonna get into. So the point of this show was to really talk about non-sport. So Kent and I, when we talked about planning the show, we wanted to kind of do something different. And one of the things that wasn't talked about, at least we noticed, was the non-sports. Now, there's probably shows out on non-sports, I'm sure, but we, at least the channels we check out, don't have too much on that content. So Billy, being who Billy is, and I know he's into non-sports, I thought when I start off with more of his personal collection first, and then we'll get into more of the business side of what Upper Deck does. So Upper Deck is huge in the entertainment products. There's several things that they put out. They've also got products on ePack. Billy is also been working on some products at Upper Deck. So we have about 8 or 9 questions for Billy around the ePack products and entertainment products in general. And Kent and I also both collect non-sport, as you can tell. But sorry, to wrap up, I was thinking about Kent before we go to the next spot was we wanted to show our own personal autographs. So I'm going to let you show a couple, and then I'll show a couple, and then we get into that part.
Let's see here.
You better not have a Giants World Series autographs to like show off when they beat the Tigers. I'll be pretty upset.
Well, this is non-sport, so I can't show sport.
Okay, good.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about this one. So this is where's it? That's the Zoe Saldana one.
Yep.
So the auto has changed compared to the first series run. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
How her signature became this.
She has a number of different signatures, to be honest with you. She had her full signature the first time we got her. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of the first series kind of snuck up. I don't think it had a very big print run. We don't talk print runs very often, but I don't know how many of her autographs were in there, how many other people autographs were in there. And then the second series came out, it was bigger, and you know, she probably wanted to get through the stuff as quick as possible. I've got another, like when she signs autographs on pictures, she has another version where it's yeah. So you got like the 3 letters. There's another version that she signs with like photos. She's got the full name. Now she did the full name for I think she did the full name for Star Trek sets also.
Yeah.
She's done it for private sign. I think she did it for she did do an Ace Comic-Con, I believe. And she did do full signature for there. So some of these people, it just kind of depends on how they feel, you know. Look at not to go in sports, but you know, look at Alexis Lafreniere. He's had the AL and he's had the full Alexis Lafreniere. So it just kind of depends on their mood.
Or you could have Radek Faxa.
Or how many they have to sign too.
And you could go with the Radek Faxa F.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Look at that.
So Billy and I have chatted quite a bit. So I am a huge fan of this show.
Yes, you are.
Billy to see if he can get me an autograph, and he kindly did so. So this is one of my favorite characters, although I like her better as her evil character.
You've got the evil character coming.
I know. So that's
I
coming.
told you I don't trust Canadian mail. No offense. Otherwise, I would have mailed it to you. I'd rather. I thought I was going to be able to give it to you at an expo.
Oh, that's not it either. Where did I put it? Oh, I didn't bring it out. Sorry, I didn't bring it out. Anyway, I'll show it to my next show. But I'll show you some other autographs I like. Anyway, just want to show that again because that's one of my favorites.
Right. I'll show you this here. So that same as the one you have, Billy, the Jennifer Love Hewitt. And then I also pulled this one too, but that's her different signature. It's hard to get the glare there.
Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah. Her signature is different there compared to the nicely done one for Upper Deck.
Yeah.
And then I have this.
Go ahead. That's one of the Star Wars names I don't have yet that I'd like to get.
That one, and then I am a huge Trek fan.
Nice.
Now he took forever to understand my name. I pulled out my driver's license, and then he almost put my last name. And I'm like, I wish I had a name like Andy or something. And then here's the last one. I brought this one as well.
Where'd you get that one?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody named Billy got it for me. And then my last one I'll show is Kent and I love to break non-sports at the expo. I always break Star Trek. So I never had Marina Sirtis, so I got Marina Sirtis in one of my boxes. So I was pretty happy with that. Kent, do you have any other ones? I think we lost Kent. Kent is frozen. I'll wait for Kent to come back. But, okay, so let's get into non-sport. And so, like I said, Billy works at Upper Deck. He's worked on a couple of products for non-sports. Billy, I'll get you to kick it off by telling us what products have you worked on?
Well, here's the fun thing is there's a lot of products I've worked on that I can't talk about yet. It's a matter of, licenses and stuff like that. And, we promote our things at a certain time. So, the ones that you've seen, I worked on X-Files. And
so now I'll bring it back.
Hopefully we've got a second set coming out here real soon. We kind of split it up into 3 different categories. So the second set, I know it's been for sale for a while, but I just heard word that it's starting to move again. The problem with entertainment right now is there's a number of things with licensors and stuff that need approvals. And when everybody got shut down because of COVID, all the studios, obviously the people that do some of the approval stuff, also got laid off. So they didn't have people that could approve a lot of the stuff. So it's taken a while to get some of these products out the door. I know a lot of people are still waiting on the Chasing Amy set, and the Chasing Amy set's stacked. Like we got everybody. We're really excited about it. We're just kind of waiting for, we're waiting on a lot of approval stuff. So that's
there's a question related to Chasing Amy because it's the same director. Hockey Guy 2006 is Chris would like to know if it's going to be a Clerks 3 set. Was the original set popular enough? Sorry, was the original set popular enough to warrant another set?
We'll see. Some of it depends on the licensor. Like my favorite Kevin Smith movie is actually Mallrats. Mine's
Dogma.
But unfortunately, Mallrats is a different licensor. So we've done stuff with Kevin Smith. There's definitely possibilities to create more sets. He's a great guy to work with. So we're going to try to continue to use that relationship and make everybody happy. But as of right now, we don't have anything solicited for anything anytime soon.
Cool. So I got a Chris Pratt auto up here.
Isn't that beautiful?
That's a nice auto.
Yep. He only signed for the first set. So, and he's been he's become a little bit of a tougher signer. Also, he'll do it at premieres and whatnot, but he's even kind of tougher there. He's one of those people, like I was talking about Rousey, that just doesn't necessarily want people to be making money off of his signatures. So he kind of has shut down some of the signing, and whether it be for fans, whether it be for autographs, whether it be for private signings, he doesn't sign as much as he used to. He's a really nice guy, but he'll politely just say, "Sorry guys, I'm not signing," if he doesn't feel like doing it.
For sure, for sure. Isn't he married to Schwarzenegger's daughter or something?
Yes, funny that the Schwarzenegger picture came up next.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. So
Yeah.
this is his father-in-law.
Yep.
So can you imagine that being your father-in-law? Like that's crazy. Like my father-in-law is Schwarzenegger. That's just crazy. Anyways,
Maria Shriver's your mother-in-law.
yeah, yeah, and he's pretty part of the Kennedy generation. That's really wild. Yeah, that's true. So Kent, are you able? You're back. Yeah, you're back. So
Yeah,
tell everyone
the internet in my
what
neighborhood switched on.
no worries. So what other products have you worked on, Billy?
From an entertainment standpoint, couple more X-Files. So we have a Marvel license.
Yeah.
And there's movies, and there's television shows, and we're obviously going to try to take advantage of our license. Which shows and which movies we're doing, you'll find out. I'm giving you all the politically correct answers right now. I apologize, but I'm not the guy that gets to make those announcements. But there's definitely some stuff available through our Marvel license. As I said, we're constantly looking for new licenses, and we've done so. And I've built some really cool sets that we're just kind of waiting on. So and then publishing's another thing. We've got Marvel Publishing, and that's actually kind of a hot topic right now with some of these old Marvel sets. Just the animation, the stuff from the comic books and animation and whatnot has started going up in value. Some of those old sets. So that's another thing that I've dabbled in, but you're just gonna have to wait and see. I'll be more than happy to come back on or leave a message when you're on and say, "Hey, that's what I built," but I can't really talk about anything right now.
Don't worry, we're gonna have you back, Billy. That's for sure. But you worked on James Bond.
Yeah.
So there's a question of whether or not you worked on the GoldenEye set.
Tony worked on the Bond, and that's another net license that obviously has a lot of possibilities. So he's working on that. I still buy I love the Bond set. There's so many good names in it, and I just I pulled a Christoph Waltz autograph. That was really cool, and I'm trying to get the Judi Dench. I haven't gotten it yet, but I pulled another one. The guy from Monty Python. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? What's his name? Anyway, the guy that plays Q, the original Q. Yes, thank you. I just pulled one of those the other day and was super happy. So I still dabble in it. I'll pick up about like 5 packs at a time and try to beat the odds and get an autograph here or there. But it's such a fun set. There's so many different possibilities of autographs, and there's like the names are recognized. Like you recognize the characters when you see them on the cards. So
for sure,
we definitely have some other things in store for Bond, and some stuff that'll really make some waves. That's for sure.
There we go.
Nice. I love those cards. I picked up those cards, some of those cards, just to try to get signed, for myself personally, because as I said, I like to get like our cards that aren't signed, and like Eva Green was one that I'm hoping maybe one of these days I could get her on a card. So
she just doesn't sign anything, right? Eva Green.
She'll sign. she's not around. Like some of these people will be like, oh, this person hasn't signed. It's just like, you just don't see her. A buddy of mine, they were doing press junkets at a hotel, and he's like, Eva Green's there. It was for the Dumbo movie. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, if you try to get stuff signed in some of these hotels, you're going to get kicked out. But I like Eva Green. I'm a big Sin City fan. So she was in Sin City too. And so I actually just waited. And then I saw, like, you got to choose. Like, you can't sit there if you're
Sure.
like, you don't want to get kicked out or anything. So saw Tim Burton go by, saw someone else go by. And then finally I see her, and I just walk on. I'm like, hey, Eva, do you mind if I get a picture? I'm a big fan. She's like, sure. Takes a great picture. And everyone's like, oh my goodness. Like, how did you get her? I'm just like, she was doing a press junket and I got a photo. Don't you get anything signed? I'm like, I didn't have time. Like, I'm happy with the photo op, but I've gotten her before. Like, she's done it at premieres. She's done it at a talk show here and there. But she's just not out that much. I don't know if she lives overseas or just doesn't want to come out, but she's a tough one.
Do you ever inject your passion for graphing into your work? Or do you find there's an easy crossover?
Oh, 100%. And I'll make cards that kind of like make me sit there and think, like, what do graphers collect? One of the cards, just going to sports, was like the Frameworks cards. Like, people get like signed jerseys. And initially, the Frameworks cards actually had an autograph version, not autograph hard sign, but we were going to like do a facsimile signature on the card, but we couldn't really afford it, so we just made what we made. But there are other things. I think we made a script, a card that looks like a script in one of the sets, because people get scripts signed.
Okay.
I'm looking to possibly build a card that looks like an action figure, like a shadow box action figure, and have them sign it, because people get action figures and pop signs. So
that's really cool.
I'll sit there and kind of think. A lot of times I sit there and think, what can I get signed from this set? And it frustrated me for a few years, because it's like, I would love to get some of the Defenders card set, but man, there was the thick UV on it, and I'm like, you'd have to rub them down like big time, otherwise the autographs are going to bubble and whatnot. So
I had a thought though, like, you think about the amount of celebrities that have touched the pen that they use to sign the autographs with. The pen almost alone is probably something unique that you could.
They've done that. I think they did that with Dick Jordan before. I'll tell you another example, but it's sports, and I know we're talking non-sports. There's a reason why CHL doesn't have UV on it. It's because we want people to get those cards signed. Like, we want those cards that people are going to want to take to their minor league hockey teams or CHL teams and try to get signed. And they're going to be easier to get signed if they don't have the UV on it. And we were told that, like, hey, if you're going to do a big checklist, which we do, don't put UV on it, because people are going to try to get this signed. And I agreed with them 100%. And I started CHL, or Tony built it first, but he listened to it, and yeah, there's no UV on it. So there are certain things that are inspired by things I get signed, and then there's also things that are inspired by, how can I get this signed after the fact?
Yep. Sorry, Kent, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Billy, can you talk more about how entertainment products have gone to like ePack, for example, like Agent Carter went straight to ePack.
You got any Lindas? Oh, there it is. I'll show you some. Where is it?
Oh, yeah,
there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you're gonna one up him, are you?
I'm totally one upping right now, because you're pulling my girl. She's from How I Met Your Mother. Where'd it go? Oh, I can't find them all. I have so many of those Linda Fortino ones, but sorry, I'll just put them down.
Yeah, no worries.
No, go ahead and look for it if you have it.
So here's something that, and I'm glad you brought up ePack, because to some people ePack is the devil. They think that it just totally takes away from hobby shops and whatnot. We could go on about that, but that's not why I'm here. What ePack does for entertainment And I had my local card shops I'd go to. When I was a kid, yeah, you could find Return of the Jedi cards at the gas station and at 7-Eleven and shops. You could find Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom cards. Like, these are cards that I collected when I was a kid. Like, some of the first entertainment cards I collected as a kid was Indiana Temple of Doom and Return of the Jedi.
Me too.
So, but when you going to shops now, yeah, they have all the game stuff and they have all the sports stuff, but a lot of these shops are buying maybe like 1 or 2 boxes of entertainment stuff.
True.
You're not seeing them buy like a full case of Ant-Man and Wasp. They're buying a couple boxes, and it's probably because they have people like Kent coming into the shop saying, "Do you have save me a box of Ant-Man and Wasp because I want." So they'll order. It's almost to order. It's almost like, "Hey, do you want any of this?" There's a market out there for it. It's just it's hard to find because we don't really have shops that like comic book shops also that sell our cards. So ePack has been a great way to really expand on our entertainment products, because the more we can build, the better signers we can get, because we're putting more money into the product. So if you have a product that has a certain revenue, but the star of the show wants so much money for autographs, but you have such a small revenue, or you're building so little of it, you can't get these big names for it. So, ePack has allowed us to increase the amount of stuff that we build because we know there's a market for it. We're watching people buy, all this stuff. And something else that we've done very well is come up with achievement programs to allow people to, we encourage the trading, and people can trade. People can, do stuff to be able to get really nice cards. You showed the picture of the Jillian David, Chris Carter. That's from an achievement. There's only 9 of those, and I had to do lots of trading because those cards were very rare. Like, you had to collect a full set of cards that were very rare. And so when one would pop up, you've got, say there's 10 to 20 people going after this chase. So that brings up the value of some of these insert cards that normally, if you would just get in a regular box of cards, you'd be like, oh, I got a shadow box card. Well, if you collect the full set of shadow box cards, you're going to get this Chris Evans autograph. People are going to be like, oh shoot, these shadow box cards are worth a lot of money now because they lead to getting something even better. And so that's kind of what the X-Files was, they had these cards that led to something better. And I an earlier discussion with you guys before the show, I was trading like Elias Pettersson Young Guns for an individual one of these cards, because I knew in the long run I would get a really cool card at the end. And so that's what I did.
When you trade in those cards, do those cards come out of circulation?
When you trade in what now?
So when you get an achievement.
So we have what's called, like, there'll be a little spot where it says it's redeemed. So the card will have like a little R by it. So then you can still have the card. Like, you can collect all the shadow box cards, get the Chris Evans, and you still have all the shadow box cards.
Okay.
Then you can sell those cards however you want, or trade them and redeem. Like, I will still get like cards that I want that are already redeemed, because I don't really go for that many achievements. I try to go after specific people that I like, or specific cards that I like. Well, if that specific card is part of an achievement process, I will look for the redeemed ones, because I know I don't have to trade, the house to be able to get it.
Go ahead, Kent.
Besides the ePack, I kind of lost my train of thought here. So do you see entertainment cards picking up in terms of hobby collectors? Do you think entertainment cards will actually pick up more steam, kind of like compared to how the other sports are right now, really hot? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it already has, and I'll tell you how and why and where and whatnot. It's similar. It's a little relatable to hockey. You know, it's not doing what basketball is doing. It's not doing what, you know, football and baseball are blowing up or whatever, and crazy insert cards going for hundreds of dollars or whatnot. But what's happening is some of the rare big cards. So you want to talk about like a rare card? Well, like a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, you know, graded whatever, is a rare card, and it's been going up in value. Well, Robert Downey Jr. signed back in the day for like the first Iron Man set, I believe. And so like
That's
cards
right,
like
yeah.
that, you've seen the value go up. That Chris Pratt that you see, you know, that was
Mhm.
a couple of years ago. That card was maybe $200 to $300. That's probably getting close to like $800 to $1,000 in my opinion, because
Wow.
it's not out there. One of my favorites, and one of my entertainment cards that's on my White Whale entertainment card is the Jessica Alba Dark Angel card. I'd love to
Mhm.
get that. That card's like $1,100, $1,200. You've seen the Amelia Clarks when Game of Thrones. If Game of Thrones would have ended well, that Amelia Clark probably now
That's
like
true.
1,500 to 2,000. Like, you're seeing some of these big name entertainment cards, the rare ones, starting to catch steam. Now, you want to talk about like what's hot now, like for the market or whatnot. You know, probably a few months ago, you could have bought Elizabeth Olsen autographs for $150 to $175. Now you're looking at probably $225 to $275 an autograph.
I mean, like that.
Exactly.
I think one thing you're forgetting, not forgetting, we want to also include your Goodwin. Is it Goodwin? Yeah, Coyote.
Good one. Yeah, good one.
Like that set is got some autographs that crossed over that have done very well too. Like that. Is the Luca in that as well?
Oh yeah, Luca's in there.
Yeah.
That, like we were we might have posted a few videos of Luca signing his cards, because that was during the time of like, did his mom sign his cards or did he sign his cards? Stuff like
Right,
that.
I heard that debate. Yeah,
The Lulu. Yeah, the Lulu.
The Lulus,
yeah.
yeah.
Lulu.
But
While you're there's a couple of actually I'll save these cards till after these questions till after. But go ahead, Billy.
but we're starting to put a lot more money into our entertainment. Like as a company, we've realized and noticed that there's a big market for entertainment autographs. You're seeing the Chris Hemsworth, the Tom Hollands, the Chris Evans selling, Josh Brolin's, like just some of the names we've gotten selling for over $1,000 a piece, like for entertainment cards. So I see the big names going up. I see some of the mid-tier names, even like the Jeremy Renners and the Haley Atwells. You know, those are starting to go up. So I'm enjoying that. And that, as you said, we've got some really cool stuff. Goodwin, it's a mix of stuff. Sometimes we have actors and actresses in there. We don't try to overlap like Marvel names, and you know,
Sure.
like some people will do. And we've been guilty of it way back in the day, back in the Contours days. But you know, we don't try to. You know, I think there was a Chris Evans fan of the game card. It's just kind of like, you're probably doing that because you needed to, you know, pay him enough money for another set that you made with Chris Evans, or, you know, I think like Chloe Kim was in a fans of the game. Like, really? Like football?
Oh yes, I know. Yeah, the snowboarder. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, you know, we try to separate it. I know there's a couple interesting names coming up in the next Goodwin. I can't mention anything unless it's already been released, but they do a good job of
Looking forward to that.
diversifying it. That's for sure.
There's a couple of questions related to so we had a question around the James Bond license. You kind of already talked about that, and we also talked about whether or not you're going to release other product lines. You mentioned that as well. So a couple of questions that came in. So I'm going to just bring them up on screen. So let me go back up here. So Jeremy asked, "Did you do the Deadpool set?"
No, that was Matt Rogers. That was before me. I loved the he came up with some really cool stuff with the making Deadpool cards out of old you know, Upper Deck cards and Fleer cards and whatnot. I thought that was genius.
I got the
I
actually got the I won't say the word, but the double F card, Billy Ripken version.
Oh,
That's my
nice.
favorite, because I actually have the other card. I actually want to get it graded. I want to get a graded copy. Anyway, that's a different story.
That was genius. I loved that idea, and that's one thing I've learned with entertainment. So with hockey, I don't want to say you're building this. People will accuse us of building the same thing over and over again. We're building stuff that fans expect to be in certain sets. We try to add new content every single set that we build. But with entertainment, man, it's tough because you have to have original ideas for everything. Like you have to, and they're all different. You can't like just say, oh, we're gonna just make have a set, like everything's gonna have a film cell card, and then it's gonna have a memorabilia card and auto. Like, no, there's different things that apply to the movies, and so you want to create a set that is cohesive with the movie, and that's been a challenge, but man, it's been a fun challenge. It's I enjoy building entertainment. I don't know if I could like do it year round. I miss building some hockey sets every now and then. You know, I'm still doing some of our hockey, but you know, I've been helping out with entertainment, and coming up with the creative ideas has been a lot of fun.
So I got another question here. I don't know if it's a question. Sorry, Boris autograph. I'm not sure what that was a reference to. So Chris, maybe just clarify. You need a Boris autograph.
Boris, the artist autograph? I'm assuming it's the artist, Boris.
We'll come back once Chris confirms. How's Eddie Murphy for autographs? Do you know?
He disappeared for a number of years. I went to the Dolomite premiere.
Yeah.
He came over and signed. I didn't get him. I then went to the after party, and by the time we went to go eat, then go to the after party, and then by the time I got to the after party, he'd already left. So he signs. He has signed. He's not bad or anything like that. I've never personally gotten him because I never saw him for years. And then when I finally saw him, I didn't get him. One of the things that I will purchase sometimes is they do for your consideration stuff. So like foreign press, Emmy voters, Oscar voters, all that stuff. They mail stuff out to the voters, and I actually have a framed Dolomite poster that Eddie Murphy signed because they used it to promote and try to, you know, I don't want to say steal votes, but sway you into liking the movie a little more than you would have.
By the way, so hockey guy Chris is talking about Alan Cumming from GoldenEye. That's who.
Alan Cumming. Oh, okay.
I'm also going to bring up another question on here. This is from JR. Is a good buddy of mine from Hobby Insider. The answer to this question is yes, there are precious metals for Marvel. I actually own several of them on CompC. And yes, I highly advise you buy a box for 10. Except Marvel products, they're hard to come by now.
Yes,
in physical form.
Gotten big. It really has. You know, the Metal Universe, the sketch cards are huge too. I've never gotten into sketch cards, but I'm telling you, there's a big market out there for artists and sketch.
There is.
And I wish I could go into more detail about that sort of thing, but you know, there's a lot of forums out there that will have like the artists even comment and be like, hey, I got my artist proofs, you can buy them, and people are really excited about it. So that's just another thing that a lot of entertainment products can bring to the table.
Yeah, I've got a piece of artist sketch as well in my collection.
Yeah, we stay away from sketches a lot in sports just because, man, some of those don't come out right, and then you don't want to insult the athlete. So sketch cards haven't been like our forte for athletes, but they definitely, it's a big selling point for entertainment.
Yeah, because some of the artists that you guys get for your entertainment products, I mean, their artwork is just incredible. Like to draw that piece on a small trading card with so much detail, it's incredible. I can't tell you.
I am an artist, so I started doing my own art, and it's maybe one day I'll do a sketch for you, Billy. I'll hone my craft. But I have a lot of respect for people who can do it on a cardboard that's like this is tiny.
Yeah, and Marvel is very, I don't want to say strict, but Marvel wants nice product. Like they don't want like squiggles and stuff. So,
Sure. Yeah.
when I'm talking about approvals, Marvel looks at all these sketches and makes sure that it fits the what they're expecting out of a Marvel product.
One more comment here. Hockey guy Chris says Anthony Bourdain autograph is pricey. Is that in Goodwin?
I don't think we. I think he was
No,
an Allen.
Anthony Bourdain's in Allen and Ginter.
He was an Allen and Ginter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my bucket list ones to try and get to.
So Billy, I've kept you for a lot longer than I was going to, but you're on a roll. We're on a roll. We're having fun. We're at the 2-hour mark. I don't want to keep you too much longer. If you're okay for a few more minutes, we'll just wrap up and
we can talk till the cows come home. This is I always say there's two things you can do in life well, and it's the thing that you're doing and the thing that you think about while you're doing the thing you're doing. And I'm constantly thinking about like autographs and stuff when I'm working at Upper Deck, and then when I'm trying to do autographs, I'm constantly thinking about all the things I should do for sets and whatnot. So once you start adding a whole bunch of other stuff into the pot, then you can't focus as much on it. But no, I love this discussion.
This is just a sketch, one of the sketches from Marvel Premiere, your Marvel Premiere product.
Yeah, that's a very popular product too. Gotta love Jubilee.
Exactly.
it's actually I sell on ComC, and today I sold a book of jambalayas from Marvel, that Marvel product, so that's pretty good.
The jambalaya answers are pretty cool. I have to admit.
So Billy, I just want you to kind of, so the last bit of the show, Kent and I have agreed that we want to make sure you have some time to promote anything you need to promote. So if there's anything you want to promote from an ePack perspective, please go ahead, let people know, and then we have one more question for you at the end.
Oh, no problem. I mean, I don't. I'm not necessarily here to promote and stuff, but I will say, the entertainment Bond is still on there. I'm still buying Bond. It's a fun set. Agents of Shield's on there. It's got Chloe Bennett, which is a big name. One of the hottest names right now too is Ming-Na Wen because of the Mandalorian. She's in that. Your girlfriend Elizabeth Henstridge is in there, so that's a fun one too. And then I've just there's I think we even still have like Clerks left, and there's like Kevin Smith autographs in there. There's a lot of fun stuff, and then we still have a number of the Marvel sets. You'll see like some Spider-Man and some Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot. It's the market's growing. And we've given a avenue for people to be able to purchase these cards that they normally don't get or see. So,
I've got a question for you. Actually, since this is Black History Month, and it's a good segue, I'd like to ask: are you guys going to be doing any more Black Panther sets?
If they make another movie, we'll probably go for it again. It was a very popular movie, and we'll do our best to get who we can to get to sign.
Yeah, so that's a definite question I wanted to make sure to ask, especially it's such an important month. And one nice. All right, Billy.
Sorry. Before you get into that, can I share one funny story?
Yes.
So about 2 years ago, and I don't know if DC's watching or not, but he was with me at the local LCS. And there was one box of contours left on the shelf. So I turned to him and I said, I'm going to grab that last box of contours because I want to see if I can pull a Kevin Smith auto out of the box. So when I opened the box, I didn't pull Kevin Smith, and I still don't have a Kevin Smith auto, but I'll show you what I pulled instead.
Oh, jeez. Nice.
That's what came out of the box.
And that's the first hard signed McDavid rookie.
First hard signed rookie card. Yes.
So Kent, that's an interesting one, and people don't realize that because people used to poo-poo on contours a lot.
Yes, they did a lot.
That was the first hard signed McDavid auto rookie.
Contours had a lot of promise, and I get joked about contour. I had a streak there where when I first started working, the first sets I was building, I built Full Force, I built Contours, and I built Champs. And they did not set the market on fire. We'll just put it that way.
Champs has a cult following, man.
It does, but it still did. Champs could have been so much better. It was supposed to be so much better because we had a lot of Canadian memorabilia that we weren't able to use last minute. So that's actually where map cards were invented, because we needed new memorabilia on the fly. And I said, why don't we find Canadian city maps like that are 100 years old or whatever, and cut them up and put them into cards. And lo and behold, that's how map cards came up, and ever since then they've been pretty popular with Goodwin, I know too. And
Sure, yeah.
You're into Canadian Tire sets too, right? You put them
Canadian Tire,
in
yeah.
sets.
So, sometimes some great ideas come because of some emergency situations, but Contours also was supposed to have a few other things in there. And I've said it a million times, but the people are probably tired of hearing me say it. Margot Robbie was supposed to be in Contours. And now
Interesting.
imagine that card. But, I still think we had a good time with it. We haven't really done too many fans of the game since, but that was my first attempt to try to involve my love for entertainment autographs with a set.
Right.
And I also learned a lesson on agents and and how much celebrities need to get paid to sign autographs. And I learned the lesson pretty hard on that one. So
I don't have an agent, and I'll sign for your sets.
I already have you're going in buybacks. I already have your
I have
card.
I actually brought it out, but I don't know where I put it. But anyways, yeah, I have. You can definitely use that card for a buyback. I'm totally fine with that. I'll sign in different colors too.
Can you imagine if someone pulled that in buybacks? It was like,
They're
oh
like,
my God. They're like,
who is this?
why did I get a Topps card? Why did I get a Mario Lemieux Topps? What is this?
They're like, I want to exchange. I want to exchange. They'll be calling your customer service. And the one thing I wanted to make sure to ask you. Sorry, yeah, I lost track of what I was saying. So, sorry, Kent. Did you have anything you want to add, or do you want me to finish up with that last thought?
No, I think we've kept Billy here for a while. Why don't you try and go ahead and ask the question that we agreed to ask him.
I said this in the beginning of the show. So the point of this show, really, for Kent and I, was we wanted to create hobby content that people will find inspirational. So that's why I brought Billy on, not for the ePack stuff or the non-sport entertainment products, but more about his.
Those are important, though.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But it shows his passion, and he's a genuine person. I want to make sure, and I think people will see that today just by what Billy was saying and talking about. So, Billy, I want you to ask you, what inspires you in general? What inspires you?
I've from my position at Upper Deck standpoint. I told the story on Jeremy's site also but after my first few sets at Upper Deck, they didn't do well, and it was kind of a joke with me and some people, and it was pretty much said, yeah, it might be funny, but there's people investing money in what you're building. There's people that spend thousands and thousands of dollars on cases. There's shops. They need to make their customers happy. There's breakers. There's PC guys. There's people that are buying these products that you build. You've got to think about that. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to try to. And so every single product I build, I try to think at it from every angle, and to build a product that consumers will want. And not every product is going to be built for every consumer. I mean, that's obvious. I build the cup. You're not going to get the kid who shoveled his driveway and made $10 from his parents. He's probably not going to be able to go buy a tin of a cup with his $10. But there's other sets too, and I've said it. Stuff like MVP is a set that I take a lot of pride in building, because I know that's a set that a lot of collectors, like first-time collectors, start with MVP. So you got to start them off on the right foot. You can't just this is just a cheap product, let's make a cheap product. No, you got to put some sort of chase cards in there, put some sort of stuff that people are going to want, because this is a very important set for first-time collectors, and same with UD1 and UD2. I'm inspired to build sets that people want to collect, that people want to purchase, and that everybody's happy. I want the consumer to be happy. I want the distributor to be happy. I want the card shops to be happy. I want the breakers to be happy. I want as many people as possible to be happy with the products that I build. So that's my challenge every day. From a collecting autograph standpoint, it's still fun for me. So it's again, I'm from Michigan. Kid, like, people, like, if you saw Kid Rock, that was like the biggest news in the world, for anyone that lived in Michigan back in the day. Or, you see, maybe someone that plays for the Tigers or the Pistons or the Red Wings or whatever, like, oh my goodness. Then you come to California, and the cool thing about, like, collecting autographs, there's always new shows, there's always new actors, there's always new actresses. So, like I was telling you, I went from, like, the hot new person was Anna de Armas, and then it went to Anya Taylor-Joy, and who's going to be the next big name. So there's always someone to chase, there's always somebody to go after. And I kind of like just continually building my collection. And I'm working on cataloging it. I'll have I have a Facebook page, but it's not well done, so I'm gonna basically delete it and then redo it, because I've got a new phone that has a better camera. I've got my computer. I want to label stuff, and I just want to do it right. I did it fast the first time. I want to do it right. So I've been working on that during COVID when I've had spare time. The problem is I haven't had too much spare time, but
Oh, we lost Billy.
That's okay. You lost me earlier.
You bastard. Yeah. Someone called me.
Unfortunately, I can't edit this, Billy. You're live, so
get back on.
I'll let you get back. It's like that Letterbox TV version. Anyways, while we're waiting for Billy to come on, I really hope everyone who did tune in to watch this, I really thank you.
I told them not to call me too.
Was it one of your autograph hounds?
There you are.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah. You're still on, actually.
Where's my mic? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. You're good. You're good.
Hello?
You're good. Nope, there you go. We're good. You're good.
You're good, man.
Everyone can hear me. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. That's the problem.
Okay, so we're going to...
You didn't hear me complain about a guy calling me, did you?
We did.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's all good.
We're going to use that in editing?
All good.
No, it's all live. Don't worry.
I'm gonna leave and come right back, because I need to. I can't hear you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. You gotta love live television, folks.
Live television can't get any more raw than that. Sorry, really quickly. For all of those who joined, I really appreciate you joining. It's a long time to take out of your day. I am going to work with Kent to figure out how to podcast this stuff, so you guys can listen to it on your own accord. I'll wait till Billy fuddles his way through.
Well, he's come back. There he is.
Am I 10 shades redder? Because
yes, you are. And don't worry, you didn't say anything wrong. It was just funny. It was a good blooper.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I told the guy, I'm just like, don't call me. I literally called him like an hour before the show and said, hey, don't, because he usually calls me. It's one of my autographing friends, but he usually calls me in when I'm done with work and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to call you now. Don't call me, because I'm doing a podcast. And of course he calls me while I'm doing the podcast.
All good. All good. So I was just going to tell everyone, I really appreciate everyone coming. It was a long time the other day to listen to all of us, three of us speak. I thought it went well. We're going to put this on podcast and make sure people can listen to it that way. Billy, we're going to have you back again for sure. Thank you very much for attending the show. I really appreciate it. Kent, go ahead if you want to wrap up any last few words.
I just want to remind folks, and again, just to segue what Amit had just said, thank you everybody for watching and for tuning in today. We appreciate Billy being our first guest. Thank you again, Billy. Also, you can also watch this program again on YouTube because it'll be on YouTube. So you can actually rewatch it if you missed anything or you weren't here live tonight.
Cool. And with that, I'm going to end the broadcast. You guys stay there until the end. Just hold on. I'm going to end broadcast now. So this is how dreams start.
Oh, wait. See you next Tuesday. There's another show.
Yes. Sorry. February 9th, we have Nelson Wang from Velocity Sports Cars and Brakes coming on with myself and Kent. And we're going to talk to him about his passion and his business venture on Facebook. Now I'm going to say this is where dreams start. Have a good day, folks. Thanks for everything.